Okay, hello everybody. This is chapter 4. Let's get into our chapter 4 PowerPoint. And we are covering CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility, one of my favorite subjects. So our learning outcomes: describe and explain corporate social responsibility, or CSR, distinguish between instrumental and social contract approaches to CSR, explain the business argument for doing well by doing good, summarize the 5 driving forces behind CSR, explain the triple bottom line approach to corporate performance measurement, and discuss the relative merits of carbon offset trading. So what is CSR? It's the actions of an organization that are targeted toward achieving a social benefit over and above maximizing profits for its shareholders and meeting all its legal obligations. You'll remember from chapter 2, our definition of shareholders is basically anybody who has an interest in the company or business. Also known as corporate citizenship and corporate consciousness. That's a hard word to say too. Approaches to CSR. We have the instrumental approach, which is the perspective that the only obligation of a corporation is to maximize profits for its shareholders and providing goods and services that meet the needs of its customers. One of my favorite questions is to ask students in business principles, my business principles courses, which is like an introductory course to business, is what is business? Is it about making money, maximizing profits? Is it about providing a good services while maximizing profits? Are we also giving back to society at the same time? So what is business? The second approach to CSR is a social contract approach. The perspective that a corporation has an obligation to society over and above the expectations of its shareholders. So what is the impact of corporate actions? It impacts customers, employees, suppliers, and communities. It can be positive or negative depending on the actions taken by the corporation. So again, is it just purely about maximizing profits, or is it also about providing a benefit to society? Management by inclusion. So we have going beyond generated profit attracts a lot of attention. So example, alcohol manufacturers have a long-term perspective and spread awareness about drinking responsibly. So our alcohol manufacturers, they have commercials and all kinds of marketing and advertisements, but they also have a warning label on a beer bottle, or a warning on the commercial or whatever. Usually it's in the form of a disclaimer that says, drinking during pregnancy can cause long-term effects and stuff like that. So it's not just about making money for them. They want to spread some kind of awareness and kind of warn you about the negative effects of their product. Another example would be like little toys. You'll have those toys that say like for ages 4 and up, because they don't want anybody who's 3 years old playing with the toy and that's they swallow a small part or something like that. So it's not always about maximizing profits, or else these toy companies would just say, hey, give it to a baby. The driving forces behind CSR. We have transparency. We all want our companies to be transparent with us, or the businesses and companies that we buy products from and get services from. We want them to be transparent. We want knowledge, sustainability, globalization, and failure of the public sector. So these are all driving forces behind corporate social responsibility. Corporations experimenting with CSR initiatives run the risk of creating adverse results. Employees feel that they are working for an insincere, uncaring organization. The public sees little more than a token action concerned with publicity rather than the community, and the organization does not perceive much benefit from CSR and so sees no need to develop the concept. So these are risks of corporate social responsibility. This is when corporations are experimenting again. If employees feel that they are working for an insincere, uncaring organization, That's not good. The public sees little more than a token of action that's about publicity. That's not a good look for your company, and the organization does not perceive much benefit from CSR. That's also not a good look for your company. We talked in the last chapter about negative press, or maybe it was chapter 2. But all of these things can lead to negative press for your company. The triple bottom line. The adaptation of annual reports to reflect a triple bottom line approach is a testament of how seriously companies are taking CSR. They provide social and environmental updates alongside their bottom line financial performance. So we have social, environmental, and the bottom line financial performance. Ethical CSR. Organizations pursue a defined sense of social conscience in managing their financial responsibilities to shareholders, legal responsibilities to their local community and society as a whole, and ethical responsibilities to do the right thing for all their stakeholders. Our altruistic corporate social responsibility. We have the philanthropic approach to CSR. A lot of businesses, organizations, especially like smaller businesses, they are philanthropic. Organizations underwrite specific initiatives to give back to the company's local community or to designated national or international programs. We have strategic corporate social responsibility, which is the philanthropic approach to CSR. Organizations target programs that will generate the most positive publicity or goodwill for the organization. Programs run the greatest risk of being perceived as self-serving behavior on the part of the organization. Again, when these companies get involved in these philanthropic undertakings, are they self-serving, or do they actually want to generate goodwill for the public, for society? It's a very tricky question. That's why ethics is such an interesting topic. The carbon footprint. Total carbon dioxide emissions on an annual basis. All companies right now are trying to reduce their carbon dioxide emissions. We have a lot of businesses that are emerging that use recyclable resources or recycled resources to make their products. The Kyoto Protocol requires developed nations to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions by modifying their domestic industries and funding projects in developing countries in return for carbon credits. Purchasing credits from carbon positive projects can result in operations being made carbon neutral. So this is a big trend in business right now. Everybody's trying to reduce their carbon footprint. And that is the end of chapter 4. I told you these chapters were going to be pretty short. We'll get into chapter 5 in a minute, and we will be all caught up. So I will see you soon. Take care. Good night.